Howdy, howdy, we're live. Let me switch places with you and with
Howdy,
you.
howdy, we live.
Cool. Yes, yes, we're live. We're live.
I thought we were
Coleen.
going to start with a Christmas carol, you know?
Oh, we'll do that next time. Well,
It's
yes,
that time
hopefully.
of the year.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
it. That's it.
And Jeff is here, so we could annoy him a little bit.
Ah.
I like to be annoyed.
Let me see. Let me see if I find a what do you call it, a royalty-free Christmas carol to share.
Annoying
But
Jeff.
but you can go ahead and start until I find it.
Yes, we go ahead. Welcome to our lounge line. It's Reggae Online. You can actually give the gift of a Reggae Online for Christmas, by the way.
That's
You
right.
can check us out at reggaeonline.com and see which one of the courses you'll sign up for. Perhaps you're interested in this one. Um, Jeff Menzies is the lecturer. I promise you he's a good guy most of the times, at least when he's teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're looking behind him, all of those things, banjos. Did I get that correct?
Banjo.
Sure, we could start there.
Yeah. Googled it, and that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
That's what I heard at least. So,
Yeah.
Jeff, please tell me, explain what that is, though.
Whoa. Well, I mean, in terms of the course is
I
the
actually
course.
wanted you to tell me about the instrument first before we get
Right.
into the course.
Okay. Right. Well, let's talk about let's start the history of it in Jamaica. And during this late 16th century, when African slaves from all over Africa were coming together into one space. And that kind of that integration of different cultures, that creolization, and musicians bringing different memories and traditions and languages and musical practices into one space in very kind of dark confines, some of which were able to make instruments, and that those instruments we now refer to as a banza. So it wasn't a banjo yet. It certainly wasn't a banjo. It was stringed instruments, different lutes that came together and kind of was like a montage, a true creolization based on circumstance, partially. And from there, as slaves were distributed to the Americas, they were sent. That instrument went to the southern states. And it was at that point, during minstrelsy, that it became what we know now as the American banjo, which is when the fifth string got put onto it. Now, yeah, go ahead.
No.
I thought there was a question. Okay.
The fact that you mentioned enslaved Africans, then the origin is really Africa as well. Is there any particular part of Africa you think they were coming from?
I mean, Ghana, Gambia, West Africa, I think for the most part. We have roots. If you can look at a lot of the instruments today, which are still very much played in West Africa, Gambia, Senegal, the Akanting, the Kora, the Ngoni. There's a lot of similarities to early examples of what turned into the banjo. And I don't refer to myself as a historian. The area that, because remember, my background is in visual arts, and I just happen to play music. And so this ethnomusicological kind of area of Caribbean and African and early American history kind of became my practice in the visual arts as a sculptor. And I just, pardon?
Interesting. I don't know if Michael, well, clearly Michael probably knew. I didn't realize you played music.
Yeah, I mean, I had a whole practice before needing to make a living, So, and for me, music has been social. The oral exchange of music was always my, like folk traditions and music practice, which is how I came to the banjo. And then I started to discover the history of the instrument through my dad's side of the family, which is West Indian. And when I was doing graduate work in sculpture, I actually used the banjo as my medium to kind of explore musical, musicology historic, the history of sculpture, contemporary sculpture. And I actually use the gourd banjo as kind of a postmodern exploration of this melting pot of different parts of, all these different cultures coming together. And so for me, and some may disagree, to me, the gourd banjo is a postmodern instrument because it's a mashup, as we say in Jamaica.
Right.
It's a creolization of different. And I love that, I celebrate difference, I guess, partially because my own heritage comes from all over the place, And so, and I believe all around the world, we need to celebrate difference a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I always say to people, there is absolutely nothing wrong with difference, but that you're different. But I'm
Yeah.
really curious, Jeff, and as much as I want to go and talk a little bit about the course and more about the banjo, as you speak about your heritage being all over the place, I caught that your dad's West Indian. Tell us a little bit about that heritage.
Well, my great grandmother was East Indian, and she was an indentured slave that came on a coolie ship from the Indies, from the East India to Guyana. And my great grandfather was a plantation worker, and they had relations. They had a relationship on the plantation. They actually had quite a few children on the plantation. I actually have a photograph of my great grandmother standing beside my grandfather on the plantation.
Wow.
And that was a photograph I really grew up with, so that was always the West Indian side of my family, which was Indo-Caribbean. I do have family in Jamaica, but most of my family came through Guyana. So I was raised on, calypso and good roti and curry chicken instead of chicken, chicken curry, and the debate that goes along with all of those in the Caribbean.
He does make a good curry stew, though, Beam. Well, at least he used to.
But he knows where to find good doubles in Jamaica, though. So
I do now. Yes, I do. And I do make roti, and I do love to cook, although I don't cook as much as I used to. Although I'm trying to make a New Year's resolution that I need to embrace that more in my life. But I love to eat more than cook. That's the reality of it.
I'm with you.
I love to eat.
So it's so funny when I was studying, when I did my undergrad and I was in Boston, I had to call my mother because my grandmother taught my mother how to make dal, because also Indian. So I had to call her and get the okay, this is what you do and this is what you do then, and then you add this and you do that and you burn the curry and you add the all that stuff. So
Yes.
I made dal for my friends while I was here.
It's a good party trick.
Yeah, it's great, especially if you can, because well, my grandmother puts saltfish, puts codfish in the dal.
Oh, nice.
It's delicious when you yeah.
Green mango is nice and dull as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'll add that. I'll try that while I'm here. I'm sorry, Coleen. I just had the food. You went on the food. So
I know it always comes back to food.
I had to take a detour.
Well, we could probably offer one of those courses, cooking courses.
That was the intention a long time ago, and I'd asked one person, and then he was saying, yes, I'm going to do it, and then he got busy because he was slowly becoming a famous young chef. So he just got too busy. And he said,
Maybe if you do the course, I could become a famous old chef.
That's right.
Anyhow, Jeff, thank you. Thanks for sharing the family history, man. You've never shared that with me before. And look how long we know each other. Just saying.
Really? I
Yes,
guess I
it's
just assume people know. I don't. Yeah.
because you look so West Indian. Yeah.
You think so? I joke.
Yes.
That's nice of you. That's nice of you to say, Coleen. But I mean, race. The term race has always been, something I've thought about my entire life. It's like, but again, I was born in Canada, and I'm not American. And I was born in Canada amongst my West Indian family, and I lived in England, and I've lived in Canada, I've lived in America, and I've obviously lived here. Soon, which will be the longest I've lived in anywhere. So this is the fourth country that I've lived in.
And you're not leaving?
No, No, to go where the coal?
No,
I
they
might
was-
step over. I might step over to Miami for a bit to get some, some materials. But no, I love warm weather. And I love Jamaica for its natural resources. I was talking a lot today about material culture of Jamaica and how blessed we are and absolutely filthy rich, completely filthy rich in natural resources. And I couldn't imagine practicing anywhere else at this point because of the woods and the materials here that I'm able to access, and it's connected me much deeper to my work by living here. And again, I've been here for almost 12 years now, so how time
this-
flies.
I'm curious. Is this the same instrument that the mentor guys use?
That's a good question. Well, actually, the mento banjo was a tenor banjo, which is mostly played in Ireland in Irish folk music. And what happened was tourists, as they started to explore the Caribbean, started to bring instruments. And those instruments started to get left in Jamaica. Actually, there's very few mento musicians here now, and chances I probably know them all by first name. It's really sad, and a lot of them actually are still gifted banjos, 5-string banjos from tourists, gifted, and most of those instruments are made in Japan and quite inexpensive, because they're gifts, and so yes, the banjo is played in Jamaica. Most Jamaicans are familiar with the banjo, seeing it in a mento band during a 9-night or maybe on the North Coast. But I wouldn't say it's part of our tradition of music anymore, definitely, and that's really sad. And that's actually one of my projects, larger projects here, is to try to reintroduce workshops and bring in mento musicians and try to document some of this music into kind of an educational space. Whether people are going to want to learn it, and I'm speaking Jamaicans. Jamaica loves to look to the forward and not necessarily embrace its heritage. And that's, I guess, what also attracts me being here, is kind of really embracing this material culture and historical aspect of Jamaican history, because this is part of Jamaican history. And it's a bit of a gap here in Jamaica. In foreign, which is, for those of you that aren't Jamaican or haven't spent any time, that's the term used for everywhere else but Jamaica, basically.
You also have to explain that there is small foreign and big foreign.
Yeah,
So
there's big
small
foreign.
foreign is the
Right.
Caribbean,
Right.
and big foreign is when you go beyond Miami. Because Miami is really small foreign.
That's right. And Ochi is foreign now as well, right?
Yeah, Ochi is not Jamaica anymore.
That's right. You need a passport.
Yep.
You need a passport.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about, you've said some interesting things, and Michael, perhaps we have to have those conversations about how we preserve this kind of cultural heritage when Jeff speaks about mentor and the fact that the very few, he knows all of them, which means very few, or he probably knows a lot of people. But it's true, I used to see more.
Right.
North coast and even sometimes east.
Right.
I
Yes.
come in Portland as well, but
Yep.
I must confess that I haven't been seeing.
But
I wonder if I were to ask an 11-year-old if they knew mentor outside of what they see in the history book, that mentor is one of our genres. If
well,
they knew anything.
you know how Jamaica is. You have to make it. That's been something that they see on TV, or make it sexy, and then they'll latch on. It's similar. It's the same problem with ska. So with ska in Jamaica and ska the Jamaican way, because we have given ska to the world, and Japan does its version, and England does its version, America does its version. But a few years ago, when the Jolly Boys were becoming popular because they did a cover of Amy
With
Winehouse
Amy,
and whatnot,
yeah.
and they were you were seeing them on TV. They had a nice video. So some people were taking notice, and I know that some of the younger musicians have been have been, in contact with Jeff about getting a banjo or getting a gourd banjo and stuff. Whether they're using it in their music as yet, I haven't really noticed that.
Right.
So I think just like with my exploration with the folk music, it's about keeping the sound current. Yes, you can still harken to what was, but you have to find ways for it to fit into a modern context as well, and fit in and make sense. So I think that's a part of it. Part of how we keep the things alive.
Let us make it a Reggae Online project now for February's Reggae Month. Let us consider some workshops, Jeff, to see whether or not we can get some.
Yeah, it would be great.
Pay for it for some young
Yeah.
people to learn.
Could we do some kind of a symposium, even not a symposium or even an online workshop would work.
Sure,
we could do it.
Sure, yeah. No, I could definitely set that up.
I don't know how many. If you've read The Tipping Point. It's a book by Malcolm Gladwell. When I just marketing, somebody gave one to me and told me that every marketer should read it. And it has a story in there about the Hush Puppies story of how Hush Puppies kind of fell off in terms of sales. It just wasn't trending. And then a group of young boys just bought some and started walking around in them, and all of a sudden it became cool again. So as Jeff was speaking, I'm thinking, how do we mental cool again?
Exactly.
Really
right.
what it is, carrying it in different forms, and so one can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because now I look behind you and I'm thinking it's more than a piece of art.
I mean, when I first started making these instruments 20 plus years ago, there was it wasn't an area of history that was even fully documented yet. I would say it's very well documented now, due to a lot of musicologists and ethnomusicologists that are in the folk community, old time music community in the United States and abroad. But in Jamaica, as we were saying, Jamaica. I hate to generalize, but I know you guys. I know what I talk about when I say Jamaicans aren't raised to embrace their heritage. The focus is mostly on foreign. So kids are now kids are barely even raised with reggae music. Like, you guys are Jamaican. How often do you hear reggae music walking down the street? You hear dance hall everywhere.
If it's not on TikTok. If we don't populate TikTok with reggae, then they're not going to access it. So
maybe on a Sunday afternoon, you can hear reggae coming out of a speaker in someone's yard, or if you're at a beach, they'll play reggae. But right beside the reggae sound system, there'll be a dancehall sound system just clashing it. And that is Jamaican culture, because as you know, dancehall music is all about current. If you don't know what song is out now, you're going to miss it next week.
Right. Yep.
And that in itself is a documentation of Jamaican culture.
And the shelf life is very, very, very short.
Very short.
Yeah, but I do believe that our history is important.
Absolutely.
I think that preserving it is also really important. And if we don't somehow package it, that generations after generations can have access, then it just gets lost. Yeah. And the way you started sharing about enslaved populations in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean, then into America, they probably used the banjo as conversation, as you know how music was used on plantations. So what type of messages were sent through it? It is a very valuable piece of instrument to our history. So absolutely. Yes, I am all for that project.
But it's kind of funny, Coleen. I'm sorry. Just quickly to mention that it's funny that this is really our culture, but we have used our Jamaican culture and the weight and the popularity it carries to revive other things. We've done it with Puma. Sure. We've done it with the Clark's shoes. We do with different things. So it's again.
Walk through.
We have to consciously know, Jeff, I'm coming. That it can't just be commercial.
Right.
So
Right.
Puma Clarks may have been commercial,
But
but
that
the
has to.
truth is it can't just be about commerce. It
I
That
know,
has
has
to
to.
be.
but even that, the popularity of those things it became commercial. It's just that somebody said, yeah, this is, I like this and I identify with this, and somebody else said, oh yeah, that's cool. That has become our thing now. So
Right.
when you even look at a pair of Clarks, you think Jamaica, even before England,
Yeah,
right? You know,
yeah.
you look at these the Puma things as well. Sometimes you think because they have all these colors that are Jamaican with it, so you think
I have
Jamaica.
to confess, for years, I thought Puma was Jamaican for many of my young life. You hear?
I'm sure a lot of Jamaicans do. Yeah, I'm
That's
sure a
what
lot
just
of
thought.
yeah, I'm sure a lot of Jamaicans do. But speaking of commercialization, even mental music is commercialized now. The only place you really hear it is on a resort, and
Right.
what the music they're
Yeah.
playing is it's a Bob Marley cover.
Yeah, and
That's not
pop
mental
songs.
music. That's not
Yeah,
mental music.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
pop songs, but it's a mental band is playing them.
Yeah. You
It's
know
it's
that.
very interesting when you look at that tourist, I call it that tourist ecosystem, because if sometimes when I'm at all inclusive, when you want to take a break and not cook, that's really the only reason I go.
Yeah.
It's it's
Same.
it's I listen to music and I keep saying to myself, but surely you can't think that you must only play Bob and Dennis, the token Dennis.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Surely there's much more to our music than that you'd want
Right.
to share with the tourists.
Right.
But it's
So
not
I don't.
that's not coming from from any deeply held belief. I mean, not necessarily not a deeply held belief about the value of our music. I don't think they think about that at all. I think it's what
Yeah,
people think that other people want to hear, and
yeah.
so and that a lot of times that is how decisions are made in Jamaica. Oh well, this would be popular somewhere else, so let's push this. And that's what happened with reggae and stuff. Because there was ska before. When I spoke, and I don't hope nobody comes after me with a gun. When I spoke with Mr. Siaga about when he went to the World's Fair and whatever, and he was pushing reggae, and I said, so what about folk music? Yeah, and he kind of laughed. He has this kind of arrogance. It's like the laugh meant, don't be ridiculous. The reggae was what was popular, and I know what's popular, so that's what I was pushing.
I
So, and that's what happened.
I get that. I get that same response when I introduce what I do as well to, because I'm an educator, as you know, and I know that this needs to begin in the education system. Maybe
Mhm.
Ministry of Culture would be good too, but it has to start in the education system, in the youth programs in primary schools. I'm not talking like Immaculate and Hillel and the American school, but I'm talking like Trenchtown High or
Mm-hmm.
Windward Primary, or the
Or
inner
mock up
city schools in
primary.
the country. Yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying, let's go rural.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's where
I
it
know
needs to begin.
that's probably a good opportunity for cross ministry collaboration.
Absolutely.
Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Education, and where we start, we say we want to start with students with music in the school. Let's add
Yeah,
something else other than the recorder, please.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so Jeff, I know the course we've had this course up from we launched online actually.
Yes.
That's
Yes, we
right.
did.
That's right.
Um, tell us and take us through. You mentioned material. So someone who signs up for the course, how do they actually get material access to? Do you provide that? Tell us a little bit about that process when one signs up.
Well, something that well, let me back it up. I've been teaching this gourd banjo making for probably about 20 years now, and something throughout all of those years I've stressed in my teachings, and I've taught it all over the world at this point. I've taught, wherever you are in the world, you have different access to materials based on the natural resources around you. And I'm always pushing craftspeople to embrace what is around them instead of pulling from other places and bringing it to them, because that also connects you to your own culture,
Mhm.
and so, and it's just cheaper, it's just
Yeah.
cheaper. So if someone from the western, say Oregon, is taking the course, they're going to have different materials available to them than someone in Connecticut, because the walnut that grows on the West Coast is different than the East Coast and has very different properties. So in the course, I would certainly offer kind of a counseling to kind of navigate that, because there are materials that are suitable and then there's some aren't. And where you are located, really, like we have cedar in Jamaica, and cedar here is as hard as walnut in the States, but cedar in the States is very soft, used for shingles and decking and different things. And so wherever you are in the world, wood changes. And even within a country, even Jamaica, which is a little island, the wood you get from one end of the island is different than the other end, just like mangoes or ackee or coconut, So the material culture of this is very important to me. But I do offer some materials such as skin. I process my own goat skin here in a fairly large quantity, and I do make that available commercially. So I can supply some materials. But I can certainly, I would counsel people to look up what's around them, essentially.
Yes, and basically the stuff that they can, apart from the stuff that they can get directly from Jeff gives them links and contacts for places where they can source the other things locally, or as close to local as possible.
Yeah, or if they want to try growing their own gourds. For example, gourds don't grow very well here in the West Indies because it's too moist. It's too warm and moist, day and night and all year round. I know. Although we do have fluctuations. I know when I say it's winter to Jamaicans, say that we don't have winter. But it's getting cooler outside. The days are getting shorter, and it is.
It's a cool summer.
Right, it's a cool summer, which again is why I'm here, right? Although, which is maybe why Michael isn't, because he's like,
yep,
I spent too many years in a glacier in Canada. I'm still thawing out. My socks and underwear are still thawing out, Hush, Coleen. Hush, Coleen.
I'm really just concerned about the wider audience. I can
They can take it. Yeah. So gourds, I've tried many times. I've worked with a lot of different farmers here, in trying to grow gourds, and in a sense, I'm forcing a new species to the island, and I've quickly come to terms where I can't be doing this anymore. Calabash, which some call gourd, and ironically in Africa they call a gourd a calabash. So you can see the exchange. And if you're in South America, a calabash again changes. But if you look all over the world, wherever a culture is, they have a form of a gourd or calabash part of their culture. A friend of mine in Kenya once sent me a gourd in the mail, and this gourd had been used for catching ox blood for years and years and years. And this gourd was so purple and deep and red, and it's because of its pigmentation from the blood over the years. It wasn't gross at all. But it's interesting to see. And this is connected to musical traditions all over the world. Look at Brazil. The instruments that come out of South America and Central America, and the difference between, music in Trinidad versus Jamaica, the history of music in Trinidad, which is more percussive, because of bamboo and the steel pan and the industry of oil.
Right.
As where Jamaica was based, was a holding port for slaves, and it was basically plantations everywhere, And so the string traditions that came through Africa and then evolved differently here, and then changed again, difference in creolization, Creole culture. Out of many, one people, and that is what the gourd banjo is. It's out of many, one gourd banjo. And again, that's why I personally choose to use it as a medium to explore musical history as well as contemporary art and form and function and music. They're functional pieces of art. And all the skills that go into it are similar to other instruments, but different slightly because of the organic nature of the resonator, the body of the instrument. But the skills are applicable to all sorts of different areas, such as furniture making or cooking roti.
I have a little curiosity. As you speak about material culture, I kind of think as you go around the country, you're collecting different types of woods. How do you think material culture impact people's socio-economic lives, you know.
Yeah, no.
Are we having woodcutters? Are we have what happens outside of Kingston with wood and some of the material that you source?
I mean, most of my day, well, not days, because right now I'm working long days in the shop trying to get instruments out, but weekends and when I'm on, I schedule strategic holidays, such as going to the North Coast or Treasure Beach or Portland, but I have wood suppliers. Now I have links all over the country, the island, and naturally I had to buy a pickup truck to be able to put all this wood in. So now I have a truck. I can literally, I drive to all these sources. But we don't dry wood here in Jamaica. We use wet wood. Furniture makers all over the island are hammering wet wood into the forms of chairs and furniture, and wood needs to be dried properly. And that's, I'm not criticizing, again, I'm privileged in that I went to a really good art school, and I've been exposed to, woodworkers and have done apprenticeships in instrument making, and I've learned, the material culture of making instruments and the history that goes behind it and preparing those materials. But so when I drive to St. Elizabeth and I bring back 500 feet of blue moho wood, I can't use it. I can use it in maybe a year or two, but I can't use it now. So cataloging wood and has become a big part of what I do, just as in collecting materials. For example, I was in Halfway Tree. Pardon?
Don't you find it smells different?
Smells? Absolutely, yeah. And blue moho in Portland is different than St. Elizabeth, and again, Jamaica is a very small island, but as for those of us that live here, we know the weather changes across the street.
Yep.
Yes.
You could literally see the weather across the street and you're not affected by it. Like I live on in a beach community and there's a mountain behind and I can see rain and storms over the mountain, but it's sun right here.
We get that. So I live across from a skate park, and the skate park is just below a little mountain, and we can see the rain coming. So you're dashing back to race the rain.
I know.
And by the time you get here, it reaches you. So yes, I find that really, really interesting.
But that's similar to the language and the accent across the island as well.
100%.
There's so many different ones. Oh my gosh.
Can you tell which parish I'm from?
I'm not an expert. No. Speak again. Wait, you're from? I know. Wait, St. Thomas.
No, not at all. I live close to St. Thomas now, but no, I'm actually from Clarendon, and I think
I knew that.
Yeah, but I used to debate, and you learn little tricks. So like in Clarendon, the people put on the H's, but I've learned how not to.
Okay.
Just as how you teach a child not to breathe on the egg.
And you've also traveled. You've traveled, Coleen. And you can always tell a Jamaican when they have a passport and a couple visas to be able to move around. Not to say your accent becomes diluted, but your culture becomes wider.
Really pick up where you're from. I spent a year in Barbados, and when I came back to Jamaica, asked me which island I was from.
Right.
Without me knowing, it's not conscious.
Right. I must admit, I thought you were Bayesian for the longest time when I first met you there, Coleen. And I know you won't take offense to that.
I could pass for a Bayesian.
You're good.
They got some good skin.
They do. They do. And flying fish to take it back to food again.
Can we take it back to wood and banjo?
Sure. Sounds
all right. So how long is the course?
Well, it's a compilation of how many videos? A lot of
instructional videos. Is it about 40 something videos? 47 videos. So it's as long as you want it to be. Depends on how long you take to go through the processes.
I have a half of one upstairs same way. Not finished yet. Like I have a piece of a banjo, Jeff. Don't you remember from Edna?
Oh, from one of my students?
Yes. So I could start there. Can we start kind of in the middle of?
I mean, maybe.
Just say no. It's okay to say no.
Well, it depends on how well the foundational work was done for what's been done so far.
True. When I hear student, right? That's right. That's right.
So, but give me a time frame, like from you start to when you finish.
Right. So when I'm teaching an in-course workshop face-to-face, I always say it takes at least 50 hours of labor. And I mean like this 50 hours.
The student have to do that?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't make banjo in a box.
That's possible, but they're making them from scratch. So they're designing.
You have to embrace your history there, heritage there, Coleen. You can't just, Yeah. So, but it is very laborsome because we take it from, I mean, yes, I could put together a kit. I could, Coleen. If I could produce a roughed out.
Like I would want a kit, but I'm not suggesting that.
No. But some may want a kit, but it's not my teaching philosophy because I like to take them back to the roots, such as walking through the bush to cut down the tree, you know? But yeah, it is very laborsome. But the way the course is organized is that I break the processes down into videos, and different processes are sometimes compiled of a series of videos because it is rather quite complex, you know. For example, like shaping a neck could be 4 or 5 different videos broken down into sections, and each one of those videos we're talking about the different tools that you need, you know, for different processes. And I'm not, you know, I'm a woodworker, yes, but I'm not a tool geek in that you don't have to spend $100,000 Jamaican or American on tools for this, you know. You can, you know.
But even in the process, though, things happen. Like one of the students who had taken the course, you know, he had started the process, and I think maybe the gourd he had gotten or something with the materials, they weren't really the right quality, and you know, it broke or it collapsed or something. So he had to start over and then go through the process again.
Yeah. The most important, which is again comes down to supplies and materials and suppliers. Certainly for gourds, I went, you know, probably for the first 10 years of my, you know, career of making these instruments, I spent those 10 years trying to find gourds that would work, you know, and I probably spent thousands of dollars in waste in trying to find gourds and different farmers, and because again, different farmers will have different nutrients in their ground based on where they're living. And so when I first started making these instruments, you know, I thought bigger, thicker, the better. And that is very much not the case. Although you don't want the opposite, you don't want thin, because thin has its issues as well. But too thin to me is actually better than too thick. Acoustically speaking, it'd be like if a guitar was made out of a solid piece of wood. If it wasn't electrified, I mean, like an acoustic mic. So the architecture of acoustics, you know, on these instruments has a lot to do with how you select materials. It's not to say any gourd won't work, because it will, you know. But there are certain natural attributes, such as thickness and shape and form.
Tell me something. What happens when a student, you know, goes through your 50 minutes of hard labor? I'm saying it's hard labor, but it's probably just
soft labor. Soft labor.
It's soft labor. And then you spend the time on the videos and you come out with something that doesn't look anything like what's behind you.
Well, it won't, because it's their work, not mine. And I don't want it to look like mine. And I always encourage, you know, again, that's the artist in me. That's the artist in me. And a lot of, you know, peers, instrument makers in my early days said, Jeff, why would you want to teach people how to make your work? And again, I was raised as a teacher. I can't teach someone to do the same as I can, because we're not machines, you know. I'm just sharing knowledge. I could give you, a student of mine could be in my studio working with my same tools and materials. They're not going to make what I make, you know. And that's the beauty of creating something.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
an exchange.
Yeah,
Because
it's a
I could
complete
do
exchange.
class and then do another course and then I can exchange it. It's a good gift too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is, because everyone's going to get something different out of it. And the advantage over, the online education, which is, I guess we can thank COVID for, kind of introduces all to kind of virtual learning,
Right.
more so than before, is that we can, if we have a video, we can watch it as many times as we want. We can stop it, we can start it, we can reverse it, we can make an instrument and then rewatch it.
Right.
And then make another one, as opposed to if you just take a course.
No, when you said 40 videos, I'm like, for slow learners like me,
Yeah.
slow learner don't mean that you're not bright, it just means
True.
that you take a while to
Yeah.
get the, and your process is just different.
That's right.
So I really like that is there. Okay. So is there any time of the year for those who are asking? I'm looking at my phone, Michael, because
Okay.
I want to know
Mhm.
if someone wants to do a course now in December, is this a
Right.
good time to sign up for
Anytime is a
Jeff?
good time. Yeah. Anytime is a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens when they sign up for the course? They get access to all the videos. There's no way they're gonna watch 50 videos at once and then make the thing. It makes more sense to watch the first few videos, they watch them again, and then start the process, that first process. Then once that's done, watch the next few videos, etc. So what happens? So once they've started doing that, they also have access to they have access to Jeff really, and anybody else who might be in the course at the same time. They can post pictures of their thing and go and write to Jeff and say, "Is this right? Or should I revise this? Or I was doing this and I'm not sure. What can I do?" It might not be a live interaction all the time, but they can leave the message and Jeff will respond and he'll leave. He'll advise them. And if we need to, we can also do a class live interaction. It's not Zoom, but it's very close to it. Something kind of like this, but private. And so they have that along the way. There's no we're gonna meet every week. They kind of work at their own pace, and when they reach to a point where they get stuck or they have questions, they can message. And we deal with it then. If Jeff doesn't see the message, usually I will, and I go, Jeff, one of your students left a message.
That's right, which I appreciate. Yeah, which I appreciate.
I did notice that there is the course and there is also a workshop.
So the workshop, which is kind of like coaching, if they do want to have like 10 one-on-one meetings with Jeff, then they can do the course and also have the coaching thing where they can go, okay, I'm at this stage, can we meet? And they meet for an hour or whatever, or less, whatever, as long as it takes. And they can go through the process with Jeff, show him video or pictures, or just show him what they're doing, and he can coach them through what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of organization that's involved, because a lot of people, may not have a bandsaw or violin shaping peg tools and things like that, which can be expensive. And I would never say run out and buy those tools. I'm always, quick to say, be resourceful. We all know somebody with these tools. Even if you don't think you do, sit back and think about who you know that. And generally people are, well, I should say that some people are a little bit precautious about other people using their tools, but maybe they can lend it to you or do it for you or something.
Or help guide you with it.
Yeah. Or guide you with it. Yeah, absolutely. Because you will need access to a bandsaw to cut out the wood, which is a learning. But I go through all of this in the course, in great detail, including health and safety.
Right.
Including, which is a real concern. It's, I remember back when I first started art school, when I was like 18 years old, my professors would talk about health and safety and I would just roll my eyes. It's like, I'm not going to get sick. Having worked, now I'm 46. I can feel it, not only can my hands.
You were born a very good year. The best year ever.
And both cancer, right?
The 76 club, Michael. I tell you, I've been building up the 76 club.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's right. So
I can't help though, Jeff, but to look behind you. And I'm seeing different styles, different sizes. Your head kind of big. Shift your head a little bit.
You want to
Like
pull
that.
down? Can you pull down any of them, Jeff, and just give us a?
yeah. Let me.
I wonder if I should do it this way so we can make. Since Jeff is doing that, let me do this.
Exactly. Perfect. So I'm seeing it more.
All right. Let me put my earbuds back in. Let me blow the wood dust off of this.
There's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of that.
Did it come through? All right. So this is a band. Well, this is a representation of a banza. Even when I make instruments for museums, I'm always quick to say they're representations. It's not a reproduction. So this is a representation of what an instrument would have looked like in Jamaica in the late 1600s. It's a fairly small instrument,
Okay.
We could compare it maybe to the size of a ukulele.
Right.
You can notice it has a short string, which we see also in the accounting found in West Africa, and other instruments such as Ngoni. This is a bit of a modern representation, and that has like more advanced kind of more modern tuners, and it has.
Can we hear how it sounds?
Well, this isn't tuned, but
okay.
There's goat
Do
skin.
you tune them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they do go at a very. We're getting a bit of echo here. Are you hearing it?
Yeah, I'm hearing it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hearing it clearly. You're good.
Are you? Okay. I'll speak slower. Slower echoes are better.
And Coleen rolls her eyes.
That's it. That's it.
Sure.
So this is a representation of what was. I've donated one to the Jamaican Music Museum, similar to this one here. The others are more modern representations of, such as this one here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. This one here, right, is more similar to what. Let me get it. More similar to what we may be making, for example, in the workshop.
Right.
And this is a true creolization or mashup of different instruments coming together to make one, which is what we call the gourd banjo.
Okay.
For example, the pattern of this neck comes from a design similar to what would have been made in the minstrel period in the 1800s. But the gourd makes reference back to Africa. So it takes musicology and just kind of mashes it all up and produces this beautiful celebration of difference. Maybe if I take out my earbuds.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I'm hearing him though, Mike. I guess
I hear him, but I hear an echo. I hear an echo after.
To go to commercial during this. Okay, is that better?
It's still there. I'm not sure why all of a sudden.
It's the workshop.
But I'm
Jeff
hearing me
moved.
too echoing.
Okay. All right.
I may be hearing me, but I don't recognize it.
I don't hear an echo from you. It's just I'm hearing my voice echoing.
And Jeff's.
Yeah. Who knows?
That's fine.
Who knows? Only technology does.
Only technology. So Jeff, I know this is online. Do you have opportunities to have ones together in a space, in a workspace for?
I have spent a lot of years traveling, mostly the States, to set up workshops, satellite locations. I'm actually in the process of developing my own community center school. Thanks to the community and a few special friends of mine.
Where is that?
I'm actually just bought a piece of land on Windward Road.
Jeff, Put the headpiece back in.
Yeah,
And
I
see.
think you have to put your headpiece back in, Jeff. Not working for you.
Okay.
And that sound like good info, Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. How are we doing?
Yeah, that's better.
That's better.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
already.
Great.
I heard Windward Road and Community Center.
So I'm just wrapping up a project with Dom Flemons, and I'm also wrapping up a next one with Adam Hurt in the States. Two wonderful musicians where we produce series of instruments, and most of the proceeds from these instruments have gone to securing a piece of land. It's actually across from the JUTC on Windward Road. Coleen.
Okay.
It's a big black
Right
gate,
there, so.
183B on your. And so I've been able to purchase the property through these projects, and I am going to be building a community center school where I'll be teaching all of these processes and crafts, and also trying to involve musical traditions such as mento.
It's interesting. I know we're wrapping up with the time is going,
Yeah.
but it's important. You speak about material culture. We speak a little bit about the history of the banjo. We speak about how you make it and what that does for you in terms of sharing. And now we've gone even wider into community. And
Exactly.
how now do you use this material culture for people to, advance themselves economically? And I think of Kingston as a space. We hear about the expansion of downtown Kingston and waterfront, and you think of all the possibilities of sharing and having community. So yeah, I think we should give him a nice little cheer, Michael.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job.
you. I couldn't do it without the help of my larger community, such as you two. So thank you very much.
I didn't think I could like you more. I just like you more now.
Aw, thanks, Coleen. I need all the points I can get.
Considering you stop cooking. But okay, so Michael, perhaps you can do this part and share the website address, how to sign up for courses. If anyone, Jeff, do we have anything to give? What if someone in this broadcast signs up for your course? Do you give them a nice percentage?
We can.
Yeah, I think we could. I think we certainly should.
All right. So how many are we giving? 1, 2?
We can give.
We're not giving it for free. We can just give a 10%.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
10% for the first 2 who can refer to this specific broadcast.
Perfect.
And perhaps you can say, what did Jeff say now that you could tell us? That's a word. Yeah, you just use the word community center.
We just lost
Great idea, Coleen.
Yeah.
Great idea, Coleen.
We just lost your audio, Coleen. Strange.
But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. We're not hearing Coleen anymore. Are you hearing her, Jeff?
No, I'm not hearing her either. No.
Oh, that's strange. No. I'm not sure what's going on. Coleen, maybe mute and unmute and see. Still, someone is in the chat. Oh, Coleen is hearing us, but but we're not hearing her. Strange. I know it's coming up to close, but Coleen, you want to leave the thing and come back in and see, and and Jeff and I will shoot the breeze and talk about things that might offend people.
That's
right.
Kidding. That's right.
But
I think it's a great idea. I think we should definitely offer.
We can do some kind of discount for people who mentioned. Yeah, we're happy to do that. Yeah,
indeed.
So I guess once we hear from them, then we'll work it out. But yeah, this was good. I think. Oh,
This is great.
let me put some Christmas music like Coleen had asked for before.
She'll
Ooh,
be smiling.
yeah. Ooh, and to change his backdrop, and he's a Christmas tree in the back.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, do you have any? Because you were recently on a workshop. You went. What was it? 2 weeks? You went? Or
Yeah, I was in Wisconsin, Dodgeville, Wisconsin, at the Folklore Center teaching a week-long workshop,
Okay.
and it was wonderful. It was a great example of how much can be developed from the exchange. And again, for me, this is all about exchange and
Right.
sharing knowledge. And I always say I learn as much from students as hopefully they learn from me. And and it's not about preaching or hierarchy or anything like that. It's about exchange, and which is why this community center is perfect timing in terms of.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it is. I'm very excited, and so I'm just organizing the next fundraising projects currently to continue that along. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's no more planned workshops. I know you don't love to travel. But okay.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to do more locally than internationally this time.
Okay.
Short term, I would actually like to open up my space for people internationally to come here.
Perfect.
I think that would be that's the direction I want to be going. So we can include like tours of Port Royal or the Music Museum.
And that was part of the original idea with Reggae Online, actually, is to have people do courses and then come and do workshops, and that your center would be a perfect
exactly
part of that.
Exactly.
If people come and do workshops and they can do part of what they're doing at your place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Coleen was trying, but I think something wasn't connected. Maybe we should try again.
Okay.
But, we'll give her a few more minutes. Oh, okay. Here she is. All right.
Yeah, I actually came in on my cell phone because I'm not sure what happened, if it's the connection.
Turn it sideways. Turn it sideways if you can.
Oh, this way.
Yes. But it's not. It's not reorienting.
Well, I feel like me upside down.
It's a good look though, Coleen. It's a good look.
It's not changing orientation. But see, you've come in now, Coleen, and we have the Christmas music going.
That's it.
Oh, just in time.
No pressure. No pressure.
Well,
Did you share the link to sign up for the course?
Yes, here's a website at the base. You can go there and you can reggaeonline.com. So it's right here, and then you just look for the art of gourd banjo making, and sign up there. And I think there's a couple options, right, Jeff? You can pay all at once, or you can pay in installments.
Yeah, it's very flexible based on what you need to make happen. So,
and if you need more flexibility, message us and we can arrange that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, or Christmas gift vouchers.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Christmas gift vouchers. I agree.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, it's a good gift. It's a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
It's connecting with nature. It's connecting with your heritage, and then you have something to show.
Something you made.
I think
something
it's
you
a
built.
wonderful gift.
All from Santa's Jamaican workshop.
Absolutely.
I think Jeff is wrapping us up.
I think so.
Yeah. So right. Michael, I don't know if we meet again for lounge. We lounge at all for Christmas before Christmas time, or we go into the new year.
Maybe we can do a Christmas thing.
We have some time.
Yeah.
We could do a Christmas thing with a few.
Yeah.
Put Jeff in a hat. He could come back.
That's it.
I'll put on something red. Let my beard grow.
That's it. I'll too. Yeah, we can have beard race.
Let my hair out.
So we commit to early notice, at least 1 week's notice, so that we can have you. And we can also invite ones to tell us what they want to talk about. within
course.
Reggae Online that's related to any of these sessions. Do you want Jeff back? Do you want to have a demonstration? What is it that you need?
Yeah.
But yes, we're here. It's great to connect, considering some of us don't go out enough.
Yes, indeed. And do you
All
want to
right,
come on
neighbor,
and
it
talk?
was good.
I know. I think the last time we were online, we were talking about making 2 cans with a wire.
Just
Yes, I
walk
remember
along
that.
the beach.
That was at the
Walk
lodge.
along the beach and we will see each
Okay.
other. I recommend that you do that.
That sounds good.
So we were talking to Jeff Menzies. Of course, Michael Sean Harris has been here for Reggae Online. I'm Coleen Douglas for another Lounge Lyme. We will see you in about another week at maximum 2.
That's right. All right, bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here. Don't go anywhere.
right.
Stay backstage.
Okay.
All right.